With Super Mario Party Jamboree releasing soon, I wanted to take a look at one of my most anticipated features, boss battles. According to previews, Kaboom Squad is the name of the mode here, where you can see the gang fighting against Bowser by shooting him with cannonballs. His boss health bar looks similar to health meters in Mario Party 9's boss battles. No matter how you feel about that game's car mechanics, the boss battles were a refreshing change of pace. Of course, it seems like whether you're trying to save the city or running away from certain death in Coopathlon, Bowser is the only boss you'll actually go against. However, we have this brand new footage showing off a Sting Bee boss fight in this game. Like, there are bosses in this game. The traditional Mario Party 9 style of boss fight is here. So there are tons of different types of boss fights, quote unquote, in this title. However, we know of two actual bosses, that being a giant floating bee and Bowser. Let's fix that with 20 brand new bosses for Super Mario Party Jamboree. And yes, Nintendo, you can absolutely take these ideas for DLC, future updates, or maybe even the first Mario Party on Switch 2. I mean, even though the game's not out yet, modes like Coopathlon and Kaboom Squad look really enjoyable. So if the next Mario Party game after Jamboree wants to take inspiration from these modes and include a lot more boss fights, this is, I think, the perfect list. Let's start it off with number 1, PD Piranha. My idea for PD Piranha would pretty much just be a reskin of the Kaboom Squad mode we've already seen, except instead of this nondescript city, change it into Isle Delfino. With PD Piranha rampaging around, all the mechanics could be the exact same, just a nice reskin. Instead of grabbing cannonballs, imagine grabbing water tanks, running back to some massive flood type device that can damage PD Piranha. Rather than Bowser shooting out fireballs, PD could shoot out ink, or as Toad so eloquently puts it,
"What's this icky paint like goop?"
Seriously, it would only need to be a light reskin, but you're telling me if there wasn't just an option to turn this mode from Bowser in a nondescript city to a complete throwback to Super Mario Sunshine with Isle Delfino buildings being destroyed, I would pay like $5 for that, and it's only cosmetic. Number 2, we have the Mecha Wiggler. This is pretty much the exact same thing. Don't worry, these aren't all Kaboom Squad reskins. But the Mecha Wiggler is in New Donk City, so the buildings are a lot taller, and Mecha Wiggler itself is crawling on the buildings, maybe shooting its energy blasts down at players. Basically the same as PD Piranha, but instead of Isle Delfino, we're taking a trip to New Donk City. This would be awesome. For number 3, let's move on from Mecha Wiggler to Mega Wiggler, because Mega Wiggler's actually in this game. He has his own board with Mega Wiggler's Tree Party, and if this board were to have a boss fight that could maybe show up as, say, the last minigame, or get triggered by an event space, I know exactly what it needs to be. Mega Wiggler runs around this little circular pit, opening up new pathways and shorter routes to the star, but in this minigame, we would all join him at the bottom of the pit. But because this is obviously a Mega Wiggler, dude is way bigger than us. The minigame is basically running around while trying to avoid his feet, and this would be sick because it could take place on the board itself. Obviously, it would not be, it would have to send you to a minigame. You wouldn't be playing in actually the same environment, but it would look the same. Visually, they could make this just be the bottom of the pit on the board, and it would feel a lot more cohesive. Next, we have King Bob-omb. In Mario Party 9, King Bob-omb has a boss fight that's basically a risk versus reward button presser. It's a fun mechanic for a minigame, but in my opinion, King Bob-omb deserves something a lot cooler. Let's switch this to a massive relay race, where you have to carry a torch to the next person, all the way up to light King Bob-omb's fuse. For number 5, we have King Caliente. This boss from Super Mario Galaxy has almost a rhythm game-like pattern in its attacks, as it blocks the projectiles back to you and you have to spin to send them back at him. Luckily, Jamboree already has rhythm-based minigames. Look at this Donkey Konga-inspired one right here. This would be perfect. Literally just replace these buttons with deflecting these projectiles back at King Caliente. This would be an awesome way to kind of incorporate the same mechanics as the boss fight in Galaxy, but dumb it down to something that would legitimately work as a Mario Party minigame. Before we get to the next boss fight, if you're enjoying this video and aren't already subbed to the channel, I have a challenge. If we can gain 500 subs from this video, I will make a video about something that you guys comment. If you have an idea for a switched off video you'd like to see, it could cover anything Nintendo related, obviously keep it family friendly. Drop a comment down below, and if we get 500 new subscribers from this video, I'll keep y'all updated on the community tab. Number 6, we have Kamek. Kamek seems to host the party in this game, so it makes sense they should be an evil boss. This could easily be a memorization type game where you have to memorize the shapes that he's shooting at you, because Kamek always shoots those different shapes. I feel like that would work well. And for number 7, we have Gooper Blooper. This could take inspiration from Super Mario Party's river survival game, which was a fun concept but poorly executed. One of the paths on that river allows you to paddle to escape the Mega Blooper. It's kind of like a mini boss. Maybe you all have to work together to paddle a raft and avoid the blooper's attacks while going off big speed boost ramps to bump into the blooper and cause damage. For number 8, we have the Broodals. These are Super Mario Odyssey's unique bosses and kind of functioned as Koopaling replacements, but unlike the Koopalings, these things have not been reused in almost every single Mario game, and while I definitely don't want that, I wouldn't mind seeing them show up in like a Mario Party. Specifically here, it would be a unique boss fight if maybe they were on their ship and dropped bombs like Harriet's attacks in the Sand Kingdom. You could have to try and avoid these bombs while on the moon, meaning it would be low gravity, which makes the minigame more exciting, and I just like the idea of these guys making it into a Mario Party. Next, we have Bowser Jr. Of course, and I just want to mention this here, Bowser Jr. is a playable character in this game, but so is Bowser. Anytime you see Bowser, it's just like an imitation of Bowser made by Kamek, so Bowser Jr. would definitely be a possible boss fight anyway. You can't talk about a Bowser Jr. boss fight without his clown car, and I think it could just shoot some bullet bills at you that need to be platformed across so you can stomp on them and kill them. For number 10, we have King Boo. This would be a Luigi's Mansion style boss fight with the similar sort of aesthetic as Booting Gallery, which is just a shooting gallery that takes place in a Luigi's Mansion style mansion. That's a minigame from Mario Party 8. It's one of my absolute favorites. This could basically just be a version of that, but each character has a poltergeist. The more normal boos you're able to suck up before encountering King Boo, the stronger a shot you have at actually taking him down. Next, let's talk about Cockatiel, who's the flying bird from Luncheon Kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey. This could essentially be the exact same thing as the Cheep Cheep boss fight from Mario Party 9. Give each character some wings, maybe the wings we've already seen in this mode, put this in the sky, and you could have an awesome Cockatiel boss fight. Number 12 is Histocrat from Super Mario 3D World. This could basically be one of your luck-based minigames. Histocrat is known in 3D World as a boss that goes underground and then pops up to try and get you. This could just be that, but maybe you have to like guess a quadrant that he's not going to show up in, and then, you know, if you keep doing that, you can get some damage on him. There are other minigames that function like this within Mario Party, and I just love this boss because I love 3D World. Cranky Kong doesn't initially seem like someone who could be a boss, but Donkey Kong and Diddy were bosses in Mario Party 9. What if this was just the original Donkey Kong arcade game, obviously toned down a bit in difficulty because that game is actually legitimately really hard. Maybe it's a skill issue, but I always have trouble playing it. Where Cranky Kong is up on top of all the girders, throwing barrels down at us. I'm pretty sure Cranky Kong is also technically this version of Donkey Kong. I don't know, that whole thing's weird. Someone let me know in the comments if that's correct. And while you're down there, let me know if you like this idea of seeing more boss fights in Mario Party. I think it's a great idea and it's just fun to think of them. So let me know if this is something that interests you, and hit the like button if it does. And hey, if you're new to the channel, subscribing really does help out a lot. All right, let's jump to probably the most irrelevant character in this entire video, the Snow King. This guy was solely invented to be the final boss in Mario Golf Super Rush, which is super funny to me. I mean, no one really talks about the Snow King, but it's a kind of cool design. If they wanted to pay homage, they could make this some sort of golfing minigame, but honestly, I just want this guy to be incorporated somehow. We've already seen this kind of like pirate ship minigame, but if we give it a complete pirate makeover, put all the players on the same ship, and have them shooting against King K. Rool's ship, this would be the perfect boss fight for Donkey Kong's most iconic villain. Well, if you don't count Mario, but I don't know. Does Mario count as a villain if you're like, I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments. That might not make sense. Next, we have a Whomp. This could pretty much be the exact same thing as the Whomp boss fight from Mario Party 9. They already pretty much nailed exactly how I would make a Whomp boss fight in that game. Again, like, I'm not a huge Mario Party 9 fan. I think the whole car thing was really dumb, but I can't deny that that game had some good quote-unquote boss fights. Of course, they're just mini games, but they're all kind of dressed up to be a little bit more intense, and I just think it nailed that pretty well. If we're gonna have Whomp, we have to have a Thwomp boss fight, and this could be just literally like guessing the side in Wii Party. In Wii Party U, there's this minigame where you're just flying around and you gotta guess the side, and you know, the asteroids might come and get you. This could literally be that, but Thwomps. Number 18, this might be my favorite boss yet, Fury Bowser from Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Obviously, he is the boss that you fight throughout pretty much all of Bowser's Fury, but spoiler alert, no fight you have against him is as cool as the grand finale when you're doing a Plessy race trying to catch up to him, dodging the spikes he throws at you. I think just somehow incorporating a Plessy race would be awesome. We even have this Yoshi racing minigame, so you can't tell me it wouldn't work. For number 19, we have a Sumo Bro. This is like a big hammer bro who basically just sends out shockwaves along the ground, and he could pretty much just take over the one-player duty in the 1v3 minigame Title Toss. This was a minigame brought back for Mario Party Superstars, and it's one of my favorites in that game. Basically, replace these big water tidal waves with electric shocks that damage you, and this would be perfect for a Sumo Bro boss fight. The final of these 20 boss fights we have is the dragon from Super Mario Odyssey. This thing is called the Lord of Lightning, and it is just too badass to only be in one Mario game. The boss fight could literally be anything here. It's so open-ended, it's insane. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say maybe this could be another reskin or different mode in Kaboom Squad, because this guy looks like he could absolutely murder a medieval-themed village. He could ruin it. Ha, get it? He's in the ruined kingdom. Okay, I'll see myself out. But again, this is a literal dragon. The boss fight possibilities here are quite literally endless. Like, it could be anything. Hell, he could even be the final boss in that flying minigame that, again, I mentioned before, but we really don't know nothing about. That's like the one thing Nintendo's kind of keeping under wraps here. Anyway, those are 20 bosses I'd like to see in Super Mario Party Jamboree. Let me know what you guys thought about this video by hitting the like button if you enjoyed it, and once again, subscribing if you're new. With that out of the way, click the button on screen right now to learn 50 brand new facts about Mario Party Jamboree. So much new information came out within the previews and the Japanese website, so there's a lot to learn. Click the button on screen right now if you're interested.